guys, it's Mia here and welcome back once again to another video. Now today we're going to be talking about The Flash since season 6 just came out. So let me talk about the characters first. Barry Allen, Iris West, Cisco Ramon, Caitlin Snow, Harrison Wells, and Joe West. Now, like I normally do, I want to go ahead and talk about each character one by one before I actually get into stuff about the show. So I'm going to list them in order that I talked about them. So first we have Barry, who is the main hero of the group. Now, Barry as the Flash came across his powers on accident after the particle explosion. Got charged with lightning, or the Speed Force. So I've seen interviews where people are like, oh, he's too skinny for the role and he's not buff enough, or he's too dorky. Like, I've seen pictures from comics of the Flash. I've seen plenty of shows, movies, cartoons where the Flash is this skinny, lanky character. So why would you want a buff actor who's all beefy and big in a role where the character is skinny and lanky because his powers make it to where he has this high metabolism, higher than any person ever? So to make fun of the actor playing Barry for being skinny when that is how the character is portrayed is just stupid to me. And I know people hate to hate, and it's dumb. It's a dumb argument. I think he does fine in the role, and he brings a very sincereness to Barry. And he's good at the comical timing when there needs to be. Now, there's Iris. Iris kind of gets on my nerves. For one, I don't think that Barry and Iris should have been a couple, because they are technically adopted siblings. And it's just strange to me that they would become a couple. I mean, they even say in the show they're basically brother and sister. And I'm not just talking about friend-wise. I'm talking about because Joe took in Barry after his mom and dad were killed. Or, you know, his mom was killed, his dad went to jail, all that fun stuff. Yikes, poor Barry. But they are technically adopted siblings. They should not have been in a relationship. And with that relationship, Iris feels like just because she is the girlfriend, wife of the Flash, that she is able to boss the other teammates around and tell them what to do, when to do it. And if Barry's not there, she feels like she should be the leader of the team, even though some of the members in the team are more qualified than she is to step into the role of leader. So her whole thing gets on my nerves. I mean, I don't hate her. I think she is a good emotional boost for Barry, but still, she needs to be drawn back a bit. Just because you're the wife of the Flash does not give you the run of everything. Anyway, then we have, who did I say next? Cisco? Now, Cisco is the resident tech nerd of the group. He comes up with Barry's weapon of the week or his new suit upgrades, and he's very funny for what he is. And he's the resident nerd and the comic relief of the group, even though a lot of them do pretty good with the comedy. And he's one of Barry's best friends. He helps him figure out what's going on with his powers, how he got them, why it put him in a coma, all this other stuff. And he's very supportive of Barry and his other friends. And it's just nice to see him have Barry's back out on missions and be like, here's your new weapon of the week, go kick some ass, you know? He's just that kind of character. And he's so goofy, just so goofy. And he's the one that comes up with all the like villain code names and all this other stuff. And then you have Caitlin. And she's the resident doctor, bio person who helps if there's a medical emergency or if something needs to be done with genetics and stuff. She, unlike Cisco, is very down to earth, even though she does have her funny moments in the show. She is like Cisco's other half. They're like best friends and they've worked together for years, so they know how each other works and how each other plays off each other. So their dynamic is very fun. And I just think that Caitlin is such a sweetheart. She is so, like, she helps keep the team together in a way. 'Cause she's like the one that says, okay, we need to calm down. We need to figure this out. I can help with this. You know, she's kind of that person. Caitlin also has this dark side to her, this other half to her. So we also get to see how she handles this darkness inside her while being such a kind person. So that's fun. I always like that whole dark side of a character, but they're really nice, so they have to deal with this darkness, and I love those kind of characters. But then there's Joe West, Iris's Iris's mom, Iris's dad, and Barry's adopted dad, and also policeman. So he's the resident police father of the group that a lot of these shows seem to have, because I don't know why, but he comes into the group after finding out the whole he's the Flash thing, and so he kind of becomes like the father figure to everyone in the whole group. He's like, okay, if you need to talk, we can talk, and he's just a very sweet guy and a very caring person, and he's always supportive of everyone in this group. And he's like, if you need help, I'll be there to help you. I'll be there to tell you the tough stuff when you need to hear it. And I'll be there to be your shoulder to cry on when you need one. But I'm going to tell you how it is when it is how it is. So I like him as a character. And then Harrison Wells. He's another one that started to get very annoying on the whole multiverse type deal, because they kept bringing him back, and I'm like, no, keep him dead. You gotta have the emotion. I'll talk more about the whole multiverse deal in a bit, but Harrison Wells, the first one, was very well done, and I loved his dynamic. I loved it. It was so cool how he integrated himself in the team, and he's a smart ass that is just so smart. But he was one of the favorite characters in the cast aside from Barry himself. And then they had to do the whole multiverse thing. And it's so cool, the whole team dynamic with all their situation. And I know a lot of these shows have a team dynamic, but for me, so far out of the CW shows that I have watched, they seem like the most close-knit group of friends and the closest team. They have the best chemistry to me. I know the Arrow started this whole CW connected universe, and that's why it's called the Arrowverse. Speaking of the Arrow and the Flash and the CW connected universe, there is something these shows do that I really do not like, and it's kind of money grubby to me. They have these episodes where you have to watch the other show with that connected episode in order to understand what happens in the episodes. That is so stupid to me. And normally I skip over those because I don't want to have to spoil stuff in shows that I haven't seen yet, you know? And I'm not going to sit there and binge watch this other show to catch up with the episode that's going on in this show. I wish they would stop that. I mean, I know a lot of shows have crossover episodes, but they normally don't have any bearing on what is actually going on in the storyline. They're just there to be fun and goofy. But I recently just got to Crisis in The Flash, and there were 4 different episodes spread over a couple of shows. And here, when I continued watching The Flash to finish season 6, I find out the Arrow died. Hello, thanks for spoilers. I'm not even close to done with that series yet. And speaking of character deaths, this is something that is starting to get annoying throughout this whole CW universe, and it's the fact that no one of significant importance ever actually dies and stays dead in these shows. That is so stupid. If you're gonna kill off a character, have the guts to keep those characters dead. Don't keep finding ways to resurrect them, to bring them back. Who cares if you piss off the people watching the show because you killed off a beloved character? You want the emotion from their deaths, and if you keep finding ways to bring every single character back, it loses its emotional impact. And you're like, why do I even care that they're dying right now? We know somewhere down the line they're gonna be back. Like, ugh, that's so annoying, and it just makes it unsuspenseful, especially when you know that there's already gonna be other seasons because you're watching it on Netflix 6 seasons later. Like, I didn't watch Arrow when it first came out. I didn't. And now I'm watching it on Netflix, and after watching The Flash and Supergirl, I'm seeing a pattern where no one of any importance stays dead. The only ones in these shows to stay dead are the extras that are cannon fodder in the background. And it's so annoying. Like, if you're gonna kill them off, have the guts to keep them dead. It's freaking annoying, and it just ruins the suspense because you're like, oh, they'll be back who knows how long down the line, but they'll be back. And it's not like it's just one CW show that does this. It's starting to be every single one of them that does. That is not good writing. You kill off the characters for that emotional impact. But these shows do not get that. Like, a villain clear in season 1 of The Flash came back again in season 6. I mean, he's not back, and I'm not going to tell you why he's back, but he's still back in the way that he is. And I'm like, why? He was dead. He was dead. We saw his body disintegrate. He was dead. Why bring him back? It's just, I'm so sick of this in CW shows. Other shows have the guts to kill off a character and keep them dead, unless it is in the plot line that they do come back. CW shows are like, screw that, we're going to bring every character back that's of any significant importance to the show. There's no rhyme or reason for it. This way they come back don't even make any sense. It's just, what's the point of watching the show if none of the emotional moments actually mean anything? Anyway, that included The Flash and the whole CW universe, because The Flash was one of the ones that I noticed it the most. And actually, I think The Flash was actually the first CW show I've ever watched. I'm pretty sure. But you know what I mean. And you can't tell me that doesn't annoy the crap out of you guys either, with them constantly doing that. What's the point of watching the show if the struggles the character go through end up meaning nothing in the end? That's bad storytelling, just to please the audience. You gotta tick off the audience by killing off a good character once in a while. That's good show writing. Now, speaking of nobody ever dying, can we talk about the thing that almost made me stop watching the show? And that was all the multiverses, all the different Earths. That got so complicated and so annoying to watch because you're like, oh, here's this person that came back because they live in this world. Or, oh, we're on like the 300th world. And I get the multiverse theory is a real theory. I believe it because I guarantee we're not the only life out there and we're not the only universe out there. Ours is just one of many. However, to throw that in a show multiple times and have everybody keep coming back and going to different worlds and then meeting other copies and then copies taking other copies, and it's like time travel. It started to get very complicated, very annoying, and very just hard to watch. But I'm happy that they ended up getting rid of that in season 6. It must have been very annoying for other people too, because they said let's do away with this in season 6 and there will be no more multiverse anymore. All of the multiverses will converge. So that must have annoyed a lot of people or dropped their ratings by a lot, because they decided screw the multiverse, we're getting rid of it. Now, do I like this show? I very much enjoyed it, even though season 6 was a far cry darker than season 1 started out to be. I still feel like it does the emotional moments very well, and there are some comedy in it still. But it's much darker than what I originally ended up liking in the show. But you know, situations mature, characters mature, they start taking these situations as less of a joke because it starts to seem more real to them. So that makes sense that the newer seasons are darker than the originals, because in season 1 they didn't realize what they were up against, but in season 6 they know this is no joke, this is no game, this is nothing to mess around with. So that is perfectly fine. But the constant resurrection of characters needs to stop. In all of these shows, not just in The Flash, in all of them. Because you take away any emotional impact that it has. And it gets to the point where I'm bored watching the shows because I know that they're all going to be fine. The only time that characters actually stay dead in the show is if the actress or actor decides that they don't want to do the show anymore. And even sometimes then, they decide to recast the character to bring them back. Like, just let them die. just let them die. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed this show, and I'm enjoying the other shows so far as well. But what are your thoughts on the show? Did you like it? Do you hate it? Did you get annoyed by the whole multiverse thing? What are your thoughts on the constant resurrections? Leave a comment down below to let me know. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.